Chig Okonkwo has been one of the only bright spots for the Titans offense over the last few weeks, and he's been the most impressive rookie from Tennessee's 2022 draft class. This season, he has 25 receptions on 36 targets for 374 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the raw volume stats alone are impressive, but when you look at efficiency metrics like PFF receiving grade and yards per route run, Chig Okonkwo is having one of the best seasons of all time for a tight end on a per snap basis. And then when you look at all tight ends and receivers with at least 100 routes, Chig Okonkwo ranks 4th in yards per route run, and the rest of the guys that he's up there with are basically just all the best receivers. Every time the Titans decide to play Chig Okonkwo and involve him in the offense, good things happen, and there's really no element of Tennessee's offense where he doesn't add value. He's pretty much a Swiss Army knife tight end that can run a really diverse route tree from different pre-snap alignments, and he has great ball skills and yards after the catch ability. So in the first half of this video, I'm going to break down how Chig fits into the Titans passing game and just show you all the different ways that Todd Downing's involving him in the offense. And the second half, we'll talk about the blocking and whether or not it should be limiting his snap count the way that it seems to be. First play we're going to look at is from week 15 against the Chargers. The Titans are in an offset I formation with Chig Okonkwo as the H-back, and the Titans run a lot of mid-zone and outside zone from I formation or offset I. So this is a legitimate run look that does a good job to get this safety to bite on the play action. When he identifies the play fake, he does a good job to flip his hips quickly and recover depth, and Tannehill has to sidestep the pressure from Khalil Mack, so Chig Okonkwo doesn't actually have that much separation here, but really good job coming back to the football and adjusting to the pass. The Titans had a lot of success lining Chig Okonkwo up in the backfield in their week 4 matchup with the Colts. So on this play, again, they're running play action. Chig's lined up at fullback. He slow plays his route, fights through the traffic. Zaire Franklin's too late diagnosing the play, and then a great catch over the shoulder. He's really flashed the ability to track the ball down the sideline at awkward angles. This is a really nice adjustment from the Packers game. If Tannehill could have gotten this off on time, it would have been a touchdown. But the ability to make these difficult catches and not lose track of the ball, a lot of times that's something that you can't really teach. And then another interesting thing the Titans have sprinkled into their game plan is involving Chig in the run game. Right here, he's lined up on the wing. Tannehill fakes the sprint out to get the edge defender to flash up into the backfield, but that widens out the B gap and creates a ton of space for Chig to run through. And then Chig's ability to break tackles and fight through contact makes him really effective on screen passes. That's something that drew a lot of the Jonnu Smith comparisons, and you can see on this screen pass against the Chiefs, they really do have a similar skill set. Okonkwo and Derrick Henry are the only 2 Titans players that have shown any ability to create after the catch. So my suggestion for Todd Downing would be scrap the Jeff Swaim screens. I'm sure he's working on a Chris Conley screen for the Texans game. Scrap that. Give all the behind the line of scrimmage targets to Chig Okonkwo and Derrick Henry. One thing Tennessee's offense actually does well schematically is attacking the seams. They do a great job incorporating motion and switch releases into their vertical concepts. So right here against the Eagles, they're just running 3 verts into the 3 zones of their defense, but the outside most route is coming from Robert Woods, who's in jet motion. The second route is from Chig Okonkwo at Y, and then the inside most route is from Nick Westbrook-Akina. So when you're a defensive back and the play's unfolding and you're trying to figure out what your assignment is, wrapping these routes like this creates a lot of confusion, and you can see Chig's wide open down the seam. The safety crashes downhill to tackle him, so he gives a spin move and gets an extra 20 yards. But the Titans also use Chig as the backside option on this sort of play. So right here in the red zone against Jacksonville, they're running a similar 3 verts concept on the right side, just splitting the zone coverage defenders down the middle. And they've had a lot of success in the red zone targeting Dontrell Hilliard on these seam routes from the backfield. So you can tell Foyesade Oluokun is conscious of Dontrell Hilliard running up the seam. He carries them in match coverage to the end zone. And then you've got Austin Hooper running over the top of Devin Lloyd. So that widens him out, causes him to hesitate for an extra second. And then Chig Okonkwo comes open running a shallow cross from the backside and has a ton of space in front of him. Tennessee loves running this sort of play in the red zone. A.J. Brown got a lot of touchdowns off of this concept where you just clear out the zone coverage defenders and then give your best playmaker the ball underneath. This is another sort of play that A.J. Brown cleaned up on in Tennessee. The Bengals are playing cover 3. Eli Apple's lined up with about 10 yards of cushion on Chig Okonkwo, and he just runs a deep out to the sticks, creates separation so effortlessly. Ideally, the Titans can get their receiving core to a point where they don't need their tight end to win these sort of routes, but it's nice to know that he has that skill set. The most common way that the Titans involve Chig Okonkwo is lining up in 3-by-1. The 1 and 2 run their route combination, and then Chig Okonkwo reads the slot defender and adjusts his route based on the coverage. So right here in the red zone, he's matched up with Shaq Leonard. Leonard doesn't have inside help, so he's walling off Chig Okonkwo's route, but Chig wants to run his route over the middle of the field, so he stems his route outside and then comes to almost a complete stop, but then he's able to accelerate back inside and separate from Shaq Leonard. The reason that Chig Okonkwo can be one of the most efficient receiving threats in the NFL, but still rank 3rd among Titans tight ends in snap count, is that he's not a consistently good run blocker yet, and his lack of size will probably limit him from ever being a true Y tight end that can hold his own against defensive ends, but he's shown a lot of flashes and ability to punch above his weight class. This is a really nice block from the Chiefs game. The Titans are running power, so Aaron Brewer's pulling across the formation. Instead of a kick out block, he's doing what's called an arc block, where he wedges the end man inside and makes it easier for Dontrell Hilliard to bounce. Great job here by Okonkwo of bluffing this first block to give Aaron Brewer time to get over. Then he gets to the second level and drives Willie Gay Jr. out of the play. In each of the Colts games, he had 50% of a pancake block on EJ Speed. I say 50% because some of it had to do with his footwork getting tangled up, but still really good job on these plays of attaching his hands inside and just continuing to drive forward. Chig has been responsible for a handful of negative plays in the run game, which I'm sure is the reason Vrabel's hesitant to give him more snaps. On this play from week 15, he just doesn't pick up the slot corner on the run blitz. He gets into the backfield and brings Derrick Henry down. Right here from week 1, the Titans are running wide zone to the left. Chig has a reach block on this backside defensive end. He does a good job with this initial engagement. You can see his helmet's across the midline. He's got his hands inside, but then the footwork doesn't really keep up and he loses his leverage and gets beat inside. And then just like every Titans blocker this year, he's also struggled picking up inside movement. Right here, EJ Speed slants inside, Chig isn't prepared for it, and Derrick Henry gets stuffed for no gain. And then he was really good at Maryland blocking across the formation on split zone, but there have been a couple whiffs this season. Right here, he misjudges Hassan Reddick's angle and just whiffs on the block. So from Mike Vrabel's standpoint, I understand why he doesn't give Chig Okonkwo more playing time. It's one thing if your running game doesn't create explosive plays, but if you're having a bunch of negative plays on early downs and every possession is starting at 2nd and 12, 2nd and 11, that's just not something Tennessee's offense is really built to overcome. And Okonkwo overall this season has been an inconsistent run blocker, but in my opinion, the gap between Okonkwo and someone like Kevin Rader or even Austin Hooper as a blocker is not that big, and it shouldn't outweigh the explosiveness that you lose by having Chig Okonkwo on the sideline. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments any Titans related questions that you have. I'm working on a Q&A video and I'll answer the best questions from the comments in that probably a week or 2 from now.